All right. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for Norcal APEX Accelerator's webinar, Doing Business with NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. My name is Amanda Anderson. I am the program coordinator for Norcal APEX Accelerator, and today I'm joined by Christine Munroe, a small business specialist for 2 of the 3 NASA research centers in California. And you just saw the zoomies of my kitten. Before I pass all of this off to Christine for her fantastic presentation, I'm going to go ahead and let you know a little bit about APEX Accelerator and how we can help you with government contracting. So APEX Accelerator is a federally funded program that is a nationwide network of over 96 centers, all funded and available to you for no cost government contracting assistance. And when we say government contracting, we mean at the federal level, like with NASA and Christine, who's going to be presenting today, but we can also help at the state and local level. So we've helped folks contract with school districts and fire departments and even state government agencies that are looking to buy what you're selling. Now, you can see as a nationwide network, we have quite a few centers that cover California. And while we do have a certain service area, even if you're not within Norcal APEX Accelerator service area, there is absolutely an APEX Accelerator that you can get connected with at absolutely no cost. As for Norcal APEX Accelerator, we offer all of our services to the northern coastal California. And that goes from Shasta to Siskiyou, all the way from Del Norte down to the Bay Area. We offer no cost assistance through 3 main pillars or services. Primarily, our one-on-one counseling is the most used service, as folks and businesses within our service area can apply to meet with a procurement counselor one-on-one via Zoom or in our office at Cal Poly Humboldt campus. And you'll be able to sit down and discuss your procurement journey, the hurdles you're facing, and have a counselor who can help you surpass those hurdles, surpass those challenges, and really move towards successful and efficient government contracting for your business. Another pillar that we offer to all of our clients is our custom bid matching program. Now, this is a service that we pay for but offer to our clients at no cost. And how you set this up is you meet with your counselor and you set down criteria for your bid matching profile. Essentially, what industries you're looking to contract in, what locations, where you're able to perform the work, or what agencies you may be interested in working with. And once that profile is built out, this bid matching service will scour local, state, and federal procurement sites, so where these opportunities are posted, and they'll email you links to any opportunities meeting that criteria you set down. And this takes the guesswork out of what I consider one of the most daunting tasks, is finding good opportunities that fit your business and your business model and can be performed. And finally, our third pillar of services is resources and trainings, which you're actually taking advantage of right now. We offer a ton of free virtual webinars, as well as a couple of in-person events throughout the year that you can take advantage of, whether you're in our service area, already signed up as a client, or if you're on the other side of the US. All of our resources and trainings, which can be found on our website, are absolutely available to you at any time. And just as a little note, when you get these slides, you will have a link to sign up for Norcal APEX Accelerator services if you are within our service area. But if not, do remember we are a network of 96 centers. So you'll also have a link to find your local APEX Accelerator Center if you are not within our service area. So before we move into this presentation, because we do record these, we do want to offer a bit of a disclosure. The information provided herein is accurate to the best of the presenter's ability at the time of this presentation. Some or all of the provisions mentioned here could or may be changed by the current administration, with or without prior notice. So please do keep that in mind. This is accurate to the best of our ability today, but things do change. And with that, I would like to formally introduce Christine Munroe, the Small Business Specialist for NASA's Ames Research and NASA's Armstrong Flight Research Center in California. She's the small business specialist for 2 of these centers and is responsible for promoting and integrating small businesses into the competitive base of contractors for NASA. She assists in assuring that small businesses in all socioeconomic categories receive adequate consideration in the procurement process. Christine Munroe has more than 30 years of experience as a contracting professional and has advised several source evaluation boards as a contracting officer. She's also a federal acquisition certification in contracting and is a graduate of San Francisco Executive Board Leadership Program. She's a fantastic resource, and we are so excited to have her today to connect with you and your small business and help you do business with NASA. So Christine?
Thanks, Amanda. I'm going to turn off my video. I've been having internet issues, but I hope you all can hear me. So next slide, please. What does NASA do? Aeronautics, space operations, deep space exploration, science, and space technology. Transforming aviation and R&D, launching and space operations, moon to Mars exploration, understanding sun, earth, and universe, and developing and transferring revolutionary technologies. Next slide. NASA has centers, 10 centers, a NASA headquarters office, a NASA management office, which is located in Southern California, a NASA shared service center, which is located in Mississippi, and an ITPO office. We are divided into research centers and space centers. Next slide, please. A lot of times when you're interested in doing business with NASA, a lot of companies are trying to determine what NAES codes that we utilize. So this slide shows you the primary NAES codes, but it's not all inclusive of all of the NAES codes that we have. And I've also included JPL's NAES codes. They are at FFRDC. And I also wanted to let you know that for the entire agency, all of our simplified acquisitions are done at the NASA Shared Service Center, and all of our IT requirements are done at the ITPO office. And that includes our cybersecurity and our SOUP program. Next slide, please. Here is our agency goal for FY23. As you can see, the cylinders that are in blue are our goal, and the red or burgundy, depending on what color you see, are the actuals. And this gives you a snapshot of the total dollars that NASA spends in all of the socioeconomic categories. And as you can also see, we were able to meet our small business goal. During the last fiscal year, SBA office increased our goal to 8.9 for SDBs. We were unable to make that goal, and as well as our women-owned, hub zone, and SDVOSB, which are the statutory goal numbers. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit briefly about the 2 centers that I represent. The first one is NASA Armstrong Flight Research Center. Next slide. This is an aerial view of Armstrong. We are located at Edwards Air Force Base near the Mojave. And the good thing about being located at Edwards Air Force Base is that we have year-round flying weather and 350 test beds daily per year. And as you can see, we are a part of the U.S. Air Force Alliance. Next slide. NASA Armstrong mission is advancing technology and science through flight by performing flight research and technology. And here are a few pictures of our planes that we use, the X-59, X-57, and the ER-2. Next slide. Here are a few more pictures of previous flights that we've had. As you can see, we've flown all over the world is our range, and we utilize the DC-8, C-20, and the ER-2. Next slide. Armstrong has a unique role at NASA where we conduct NASA high-risk atmospheric flight research. And here are a couple more of the planes, and they operate platform and craft to obtain world-class earth sciences and apply these skills to innovate solutions for NASA in our aerospace endeavors. Next slide. Here are a few more of our capabilities and core competencies at Armstrong. We have engineering research, atmospheric flight research, facility capabilities, and range test and facilities. Next slide. What is NASA's aeronautics? We collect data that could make supersonic flight more over land possible, reduce travel time in the US anywhere in the world. We're developing vehicle and airspace management technologies to enable drone delivery and urban air taxi services. And we're testing new technologies and increase autonomy in the aviation system. And here are a few more pictures of those different planes. Next slide. Our future is exciting. As you can see, here's a few more of our formidable technical challenges with tremendous benefits. These are more planes that we're flying out of Armstrong. Next slide. Here are the goals for Armstrong FY23. As you can see, we were able to meet all 5 of our socioeconomic categories. And as you can see, the dollar value for Armstrong is a lot less than what you saw for the agency. The numbers that were included in the agency numbers are all of the 10 centers combined. Next slide. Here are a few of our major NACE codes. As I mentioned, we have aircraft manufacturing, construction, A&E services, but the majority of our, as you can see, components are aircraft. Next slide. Each year, all of the agencies have requirements, and we put those in our acquisition forecast, which I'm going to talk to a little bit later. But these are some of the things that are repetitive buys that you should keep an eye on. We have our aircraft flight support crew. Our multiple award construction contract is going to end April 1st, 2024. And our environmental one that's going to end in March of 25. And our occupational health one that's going to end in 2025. Next slide. These are some of the upcoming requirements that are in our acquisition forecast. The other thing that I wanted to point out to you is that we are always looking for aircraft parts. If your company is one of those that has that technology, please reach out to Anthony, Rogers, or Edgar, and they will be able to assist you. Next slide. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of information about NASA Ames Research Center. So Ames is located in Silicon Valley at Moffett Field between San Francisco and San Jose. Not shown in the picture, we also opened up a Chabot Space Center in Oakland, which serves as a new visitor center for NASA Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley, and it provides a dynamic and interactive space for public to learn more about local contributions to space and exploration. Next slide. This is NASA's Research Park. It hosts the NASA Research Park, which includes major partners USGS, Carnegie Mellon, University of Berkeley, and numerous industry partners. NASA Research Park is world-class shares U.S. R&D hub for industry, academia, and nonprofit partnered with NASA to meet missions. And that part is located in, we call it the theater area the park. And then in the distance, you will see the hangar. That hangar is being refurbished as we speak. This is an older picture, so you could see it when it had skin on it. Next slide. So these are the core competencies at Ames. We have air traffic management, entry systems, advanced computing and IT, adaptive systems, cost-effective space missions, aeronautics, astrobiology, space and earth science. Also included is our small sat and our aeronautics project office that are not included in this chart. Next slide. We also have major research facilities, which include our wind tunnels, our ArcJet complex, different simulators, and our supercomputing. Next slide. Ames is a one-of-a-kind facility, and we have expertise in various areas, as I just shared with you. And we also were the lead for the first robotic lunar rover, Viper, which will launch in 2024. And the center continues to build on its 30 years expertise and leadership in air traffic management and advanced aeronautics research and technologies. Next slide. NASA Ames also met all of their FY23 socioeconomic goals. Next slide, please. Here are our major NAES codes for NASA Ames. As you can see, research and development, our facilities, engineering services, and a few of our computer services. Next slide. These are some of the upcoming repetitive requirements that are going to be ending soon and that you should, somebody just put a note in the chat, it threw me off. So these are a couple of the repetitive requirements that we have upcoming. And as you can see, the majority of them are half and half. Some are small business set aside and some are full and open. Next slide, please. And here are some of our upcoming major procurements we have. Next slide. Where to find opportunities? I know that is always a major question. Everybody wants to know how you can do business with us. So next slide. So want to give you some food for thought. Solicitations don't just magically become set aside or generally categorized by happenstance. The decision framework begins construed at the time that market research is being conducted and sources are being sought. Next slide. So how can you do business with NASA? Well, there's always preparation, and I call these the P's. Preparation, you need to focus, starting with my office, building a relationship 18 to 24 months in advance, be persistent but not a stalker, know customers and do your homework. NASA posts the NASA acquisition forecast in October, and they update it throughout the year. Review the NAES code chart, respond to sources sought or RFIs, and look for solutions. People do business with people. Patience, long-term relations, persistence, don't be a pest, performance, exceed customers' expectations. Next slide. So here are some resources that I have. We have the acquisition forecast. We also have something called the active contract listing, which you can get on your phone because we have a mobile app as well as on our website. And also sam.gov is everybody's best friend, so that you can look to see what are the sources sought and the RFPs that are being posted. And you can also look at the FPDS to see where we purchased things before. Next slide. So here are a few tools and links. So as I mentioned, we have the agency-wide NASA acquisition forecast, sam.gov, the NASA vendor database, where if you're a company who's interested in doing business with NASA, I always suggest that everybody register. As I mentioned, we have our NASA office of mobile app, and we have a NASA active contract listing. You can download the app on the iOS or the Android system. The active contract listing is posted on our website. I have 2 contractor councils. One meets the first Wednesday of every month, and the other meets the fourth Thursday of every month. So I'm providing you their contract information. At Ames and Armstrong, we do have a list of the contractors who are at the center. It's not an inclusive list. It's just the contractors that are interested in having their information posted. Both lists are a little different, but they give you an overview of the different contractors we have at the center. Next slide, please. The other thing you can do is, if you're interested more in doing partnerships or technology transfers, you can reach out to our NASA Partnerships office. And that's what their office does. They have NASA Technologies portfolio available to industry and academia to support NASA strategic goals. And they also have technology transfer where you can dual use partnership and licensing. So I would reach out to them. Next slide. We also have a minority serving institution that works with our STEM program, where you can see what HBCU MSIs are doing. And then we have the Inspires website, where you can post an unsolicited proposal. You can look to see where our SBIRs, our NASA broad agency announcement, and NASA research announcements are usually posted there. Next slide. And we also have a new tool called the Tech Port Showcase, and it shows you what different active completed technology projects are being done at the center. So at the agency rather, and you can click on that link and it gives you a public view, and you can put in there thermodynamics and it'll tell you what active projects and who to contact. Next slide. So the NASA acquisition forecast, as I mentioned, we post this, it's usually updated in October and then updated throughout the year. The other thing that I have listed here is our NASA Enterprise Procurement Strategy, Appendix A, so you can see what upcoming requirements NASA is working on. Next slide. So the one thing that NASA is doing differently is we have product service lines, and this chart shows you where the different requirements are being done. Some of them have been centralized, some of them are regionalized, and then some have remained at the center. So for example, our environmental, engineering, and tech transfer have all stayed at the center. But if you look at the chart, you'll notice that Ames does not have any PSLs currently, but AFRC has a couple. Next slide. So here are some resources. On the third Wednesday of each month, we do outreach webinars that you can sign in and participate. We also have a bi-weekly outreach bulletin that tells you about what upcoming outreach events we're doing. And as I had mentioned earlier, the NASA mobile app, and that's just showing you what it looks like. And we also have a QR code. So if you scan that now, you'll be able to see the information regarding our webpage. And I'll give you a few minutes because I know since I just mentioned it, everybody didn't have their phone up. And we'll go to the next slide, Amanda, please. This is the NASA vendor database, and this one was revamped recently. So we're asking companies, if you have already been registered in the NASA vendor database, to re-register if you haven't done it in the last 3 months. And what this does is it allows the contracting officers and the small business specialists to review the database to see if we have any companies in the system. It's not like the state system where you register in here and then they'll reach out to you for a bid. You still will have to go to sam.gov and respond to the RFIs and RFPs. But this is just a tool that we can utilize. So hopefully you all will be able to register. Next slide. So at the center, I wanted to give you some more tools. As I mentioned, I have a web page that talks about doing business with me, where you can reach out to me to see if we can do a one-on-one counseling, so we can determine whether or not you can do business with Ames at this time or Armstrong. Here is the Ames Contractor Council information and their point of contact. and the AFRC one. The other thing I wanted to do is provide you information about NASA Research Park. Don't have any open facilities right now, but it's always good to check back to see. A lot of times companies will reach out to me because they're interested in logging in to fly into Moffett. And so I wanted to provide you the Moffett Airfield Google page because my office does not handle that. And if you've never been to Armstrong, they are doing virtual tours, so you can click on that link and do a virtual tour. And for those of you who watched the TV show I Dream of Jeannie back in the 60s, it was taped at Armstrong. At that time, it was driving. Next slide, please. So making the connection. I do in-house one-on-one meetings via telecom or virtual. I do joint counseling upon request with the contractor councils, and I attend outreach events. Lately, we have not been doing any in-house meetings because I've been working with the Norcal APEX office and the Sacramento one. So those are where I'm doing my outreach events locally. But I do one-on-one meetings. They're usually easier if I do them virtually, but I can do them in person. And Amanda and I were talking about that earlier today. And let's see, next slide, please. So here's my contact information. My PCR from SBA is Yuri Dyson. She's out of Oregon. And at the center, I have small business technical advisors, Carlos Torres at Ames, Mark Davis at Armstrong. Next slide. And once again, here's my email and phone number information and my web pages that I have. Next slide.
Fantastic. So it looks like that is the presentation, and that was a ton of information. Thank you so much, Christine. That was a lot to cover in this amount of time. You did it so well. So before we go into our Q&A section, I want to remind everybody, if you have some questions for Christine, please do enter that into the Q&A section of Zoom. We'll go ahead and be going through that right after I let you know about some of our other upcoming outreach events for APEX Accelerator. We have a really exciting cybersecurity webinar happening tomorrow morning, a government contractor's guide to cybersecurity. And we're actually working with, and the presenter will be Project Spectrum, which is a fantastic resource for anyone who is doing anything to do, particularly with federal contracting, as cybersecurity is very much a touch point for all federal contractors, but it can also be a great resource for state and local contractors just to improve their cybersecurity for their business, as that's become an increased concern in today's society and environment. So as well as that event going on tomorrow, next week, we have a very exciting training series celebrating National Veterans Small Business Week. And we'll have 3 sessions. One, maximizing VOSB and SDVOSB opportunities, and that's veteran-owned small business and service-disabled veteran-owned small business opportunities. And we'll be joined by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to get the inside scoop of how you can effectively utilize those veteran certifications. And then on Thursday, we'll be going over all of the veteran certifications from the state to the federal certifications, where you can find out if you should apply. So if you qualify for these certifications, you can find out how to apply and make sure that that is all in order. And you can find out a lot of the benefits of being a veteran certified business. And then on Friday of next week, we'll be joined by the California DGS Office of Small Business and DVBE Services for I'm DVBE certified, now what? And DVBE is the state certification. It stands for Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise. So we're heavily focusing on supporting our veteran-owned businesses next week, but there will be invaluable information on how you can work with both the Department of Veterans Affairs and the California DGS office as well. So if you're interested in those, whether it's for the certifications or checking out the Department of VA or the Office of Small Business and DVBE Services, please do register. And again, as a note, you'll be getting all of these slides and this recording within a week of this event. So you'll be able to click on these links, you'll be able to explore all of the resources that Christine included, and you'll be able to really dig into all of this information that we gave you. So with that, we can go ahead and go into some questions. And it looks like Christine's answering a couple of them. So we have Cynthia, who's asking, can you tell me which center would be purchasing technical garments?
I would need to see your capability information. You can send that to my email to see if that's something. The other thing I would suggest is checking sam.gov with your company's NAES code. Sometimes NASA is not purchasing it, but one of the other agencies may. And I would think VA probably would be the main one who might purchase that item.
Absolutely. And that's a great question. I did see another question. It looks like you're typing up the answer for this, but who can we email our capability statement to? And that is a fantastic beginning question, because getting your capability statement to a small business specialist like Christine or an advocate within the agency is kind of your foot in the door. And actually, Christine, on that note, do you have any kind of best practices or tips that you could give folks for passing off that capability statement?
So normally what I do is I will meet with companies individually and we can go over that information. But I do ask them if they're very small that they work with the Apex office, because they would be able to tell you whether or not you should be working with city or state. A lot of times companies will do more business with state than they will do with federal.
Absolutely. The federal can be a bit more complicated, a lot more paperwork, a lot of kind of almost red tape. It's all for tracking purposes, all to make sure that taxpayer dollars are spent properly and correctly, but it can be a little daunting and a little frustrating on the contractor's plate. And that's what Norcal APEX Accelerator is here to help with. We're here to help sift through all the chaos, sift through all the paperwork, and help bring it to you in a digestible way.
The other question somebody asked was about the industry day. I think I answered that, but I wasn't sure if
yeah, I'd love to talk about it.
Another question. So a lot of times when small businesses reach out to me, I always ask them which Apex office they're closest to, because the Apex office will assist you to determine if your new product should go to that agency or city or state. So Ruby, depending on your product, I would need to know that first before I could say if it would be my office or someone else's office.
Fantastic.
And
as we're getting quite a few more questions, we'll go ahead and clean that up a little bit. And as we do, I do want to know I'm dropping a couple of Apex Accelerator links in the chat. One is going to be for our training calendar, so you can sign up for any of those events that we discussed before we hopped into questions, and so much more. We have quite a few coming up for the rest of this year, and we're planning an even more robust event calendar for next year. And I'll also post, we actually just recently redid our capability statement webinar, as well as our capability statement template. So there's a bunch of resources on our website at this link that you can check out to revamp your capability statement, kind of practice and go through the webinar to hear the best practices for market research, best practices for approaching advocates and small business specialists, and how to kind of improve your first impression in a sense.
Amanda, I was wondering, is there any way that I can show the acquisition forecast page?
Absolutely. I can go ahead and I will unshare my screen and then you can go ahead and share yours.
Okay, let me pull up because I noticed a lot of people have been asking about that, and I wanted to not race through my presentation, but get through it so that I could share with people.
Yeah, I love having this extra set of time because not only can we answer all of these fantastic questions we're getting, but we can do demonstrations like this, and this is amazing.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so this is the web page for the acquisition forecast for the agency. And when you click on this link, it's going to show you all of the upcoming requirements that we have at the centers. And so what I always tell people is the first thing to do is to review this to see what upcoming center has your requirement. And we have it based on buying offices, title of the requirement, the services, the NAES code, which is always important, our product service line, the dollar value, if it's set aside or not, when they're planning to issue it. And that is always the most important thing. So I know a few people have asked me about logistics, and we call janitorial, not custodial. So the other thing that you always have to remember is that you may call it one thing and the government calls it something else. So that's like the first line of communication. The other thing is, as you can see, we have NAES codes. And these are very important when you're looking at our sam.gov or the acquisition forecast for any of the agencies. So I know people have asked about furniture and logistics. We did have one logistics contract, and then there's another one that was set aside at Ames. And then I think there was one at Armstrong too, and it's set aside. So as you can see, we have a lot of things that we're setting aside. And then it also tells you when we're planning to post a solicitation or award it. So those are always key. I always tell people it's best to start out 18 months. So if you see something, you probably want to start looking at 25 and 26 versus 23 because we just finished fiscal year 23. And the other nice thing about this document is you can download it into an Excel spreadsheet. I know if I download it, it's going to open, but I'm going to have to close this screen and stop sharing and resharing. Let me do that real quick. And the nice thing about this is that you can manipulate the page, do pretty much anything you want. Can you see it?
Yes.
So the nice thing about this page when you download it is you can do it by buying offices. So as I mentioned, NASA Shared Service Center purchases the majority of our simplified acquisition purchases, and the ITPO office does all of our IT requirements. So if I wanted to, I could unselect everything and just show you ITPO and NASA Shared Service Center. And hopefully you can see the screen manipulated so that you can only see requirements that are ITPO. And the main reason I'm showing you those is because a lot of those are more under the simplified and under the 250 category, where a lot of small businesses are interested. I tell people don't worry too much about if it's set aside or not. You have to make sure that your company responds. And I always tell everyone, tell your friends, tell your frenemies to also respond to the RFI, because if you want it to be set aside, then you need to make sure that you have other people who are responding and not just you. The other thing about when you download the spreadsheet is it tells you if it's been awarded revised, or if it's brand new. And if you scroll all the way over to the end, it tells you when it's been awarded. It gives you a point of contact. Also tells you who the current contractor is, who has it, and if it's been awarded, and the contractor name and the contract number, which is always important if you want to do a FOIA request or if you want to reach out to that company to see if they're looking for any subcontracting work.
Fantastic. That was a great demonstration and awesome details to get in a webinar like this. I'm so glad. We do have quite a few questions that are asking about specific items that could be procured by your office, and they're very common ones. So like one was janitorial services, so like soap and toilet paper. And one was, I believe in chat, was asking about furniture and like office furniture. So did you want to kind of touch on how NASA and your research centers procure those kind of items?
Yes. So majority of this janitorial, we're expecting the company who has the current contract to purchase those items. So at the center, we do have companies that actually are working on that, and they have their own subcontracting. But if you send me an email, I can forward that over to them, and they will contact you directly if they're interested. In regards to the furniture, a lot of that is posted on the sam.gov. It's usually very seldom, because the majority of us already have furniture, but every once in a while somebody needs something for one of the new buildings. We also have an ergo person at the center, so they have to make sure that everything is ergonomically correct. So I would schedule that with her. So you would need to send me your capability information. And let's see. Somebody else asked about product demonstrations. So those at JPL, they do have a separate office from mine. But one of the things I do is I have a presentation that I send to folks that has about 7 slides, so you can share with me what your company does. And then I send that out to the technical people. And if they're interested, then we schedule a meeting. And I see something else about patent construction.
Yeah, I did see another one on the topic of things that you procure. Nostrum was asking about organic skincare products. Do you think that's something that NASA would purchase to use in their facilities?
I can ask. One of the things I know, when we had COVID-19, we were purchasing hand sanitizer. So that would be something. So as I stated, I always tell everybody, send me your capability information. And if I can't, I do share my information with the other small business specialists in Northern California. The VA, I think, would also be a good one to solicit, and also GSA.
I think also, if I could add, for skincare products, I would also think of the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, because they would definitely offer that in like local jails and prisons. Like they want to get that kind of skincare and care supplies. So that might also be a good agency to look into for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we still have plenty of questions. Jeffrey was asking how they can go about scheduling product demonstrations for you, for the folks who are looking to purchase at NASA. Would that be done through the small business advocate or specialist?
Yes, that would be through my office.
Fantastic.
And someone asked for the link, so I'm trying to go back to that one so I can send the link. Everybody will see it when I send it, right?
Absolutely. And as a reminder to everyone on this call, you will absolutely be getting both the recording of this event and the slide deck with all of those links active and clickable within a week of this event. So a lot of the links, a lot of the resources that we're talking about, and the email addresses of the folks that you can connect with at NASA will all be available to you within a week. So we'll try to get everything we can out to you today, but you'll get the full breadth of everything we spoke about within a week of the event. Perfect. And I'm just kind of scanning through. We have a couple more industry questions, but you can kind of, if you have a question, if NASA would procure your product, your service, whatever you are selling, it sounds like we should just connect with Christine and see about getting that capability statement over to her. And even if her centers don't procure it, it sounds like you can connect them with maybe some agencies that do.
Yes, and the other thing I wanted to let them know is that my office doesn't purchase apparel or signature
Signage.
signage. I was trying to read it. Okay, thank you.
You're fine.
And we do have a gift shop that purchases that item. And if you send me your capability information, I can forward it over to them. They do have their own vendors, but periodically they do reach out to other companies.
Absolutely. It's a matter of making those connections. And at least when those changes in companies, changes in sources does come about, you want to be top of the brain because you've been connecting with these folks.
There was one I wasn't sure about from
Yeah.
Stephen, where he's talking about sales accounting manager.
So it says, can he take advantage without the business owner? I will assume, and please, Stephen, correct me if I'm assuming wrong. Can you take advantage of Norcal APEX Accelerator services? And that is absolutely yes, but with the big caveat, the business owner does have to be looped in. They have to know that you're going for government contracts, that you're soliciting these services from us, because I mean, if you do get a government contract and they're completely out of the loop, that's a whole kerfuffle that we do not want to be involved in. So while we can work directly with you as the sales manager, at some point we will want to confirm that the business owner is aware of what you're doing and is aware that his company is now pursuing government contracts. So I hope that I answered that well. And so we answered that one. And as we are coming to the end of our questions with a little bit of time, I'll go ahead and let you guys have a little bit of time back in your day, and we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all so much for joining us. This was a fantastic presentation. Thank you, Christine, for being here and offering this plethora of information for our audience. I'm sure we got a ton of information, a ton of connections, and a ton of resources out of it. So thank you for being here, Christine.
Thank you for the invite.
And before you all leave and go about your day, I do want to let you know when you leave this event, you'll be redirected to our feedback survey. And this is a very brief Google form that we like to ask all of our webinar attendees to fill out to just give us your feedback on how you liked this training, maybe how you didn't like this training. We love to hear both sides of it. And let us know if you would like to see anything else. We really do value all of the responses we get on our events and how we can further improve them. So if you do have a moment, it should be quite fast to fill out, and we really appreciate the time that it takes. So once again, thank you all for joining us today. And as Pandora demands her cuddles, I will hope you all have a fantastic day.